Hi, welcome to the channel. Here at the Crypto Lifestyle, we focus on mass adoption, decentralization, and other aspects of cryptocurrency that'll bank you coin. Please comment, like, and subscribe. Hit the bell for notifications so you can find out when we post our next video. Also, hit the links to our social media sites, the Twitter, the Facebook, even our Medium. Check out all our links. We're all over the internet. Most of you are familiar with me, but if you're not, I'm the Crypto Lifer. I also have my own YouTube channel. Hit the link in the description and in the pinned messages. I go live Monday through Friday from 9:30 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. and Saturday and Sunday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, USA. That's 14 hours of live streaming a week and content just like this. So check out my channel, and I'd really appreciate it if you subscribe. One thing I have to say, we at the Crypto Lifestyle channel are not financial advisors. Do not take anything we say as financial advice. Please get yourself a financial advisor and do your own research before investing into any coin or project. Today, I really want to go over NFTs as a whole. I want to talk about where they've been, where they are, and where they're going. There's so much going on in the NFT space, and the innovation is really endless. Purely limitless, really. Anything is possible. I'm even sitting with my own ideas right now, and I have so many cool ways to navigate the NFT space. So if you want to go on a deep dive with the Crypto Lifer, you want to know all the ins and outs about NFTs and more, stay tuned.
It's the Crypto Lifestyle, baby.
Woo! I love the intro every single time, baby. That's right. I want to really get into the video. NFTs, man. NFTs, non-fungible tokens. Now, what is an NFT? Right off the bat, an NFT is something that cannot be exchanged for something else. A dollar can be exchanged for a dollar, a quarter for a quarter, a Bitcoin for a Bitcoin. But a non-fungible token cannot be exchanged for anything else. It is purely unique. It's like the Mona Lisa, or a catcher's mitt by a famous baseball player, or maybe a hockey stick used by Bobby Orr. Something no one else could ever replace. Non-fungible, baby. Humans have always taken a liking to being collectors and collectibles. Throughout history, humans have loved to collect things. Even Cro-Magnon man, if you went into their caves, you could see drawings, little shapes. We were collecting things from the very, very beginning. So it makes sense that as we progress as humans and further into the future, we'll only find new ways, innovative ways, and high-tech ways to become collectors yet again. Now check out this fun NFT behind me spinning around. Star Wars The Mandalorian. Pretty cool. I personally like NFTs that are boxed in these clear packages. It gets me every time. But if you like Star Wars, if you're into Star Wars, how could you not like this NFT? I almost guarantee if you pick this up on Rarible today, you'll be able to flip it for some good gains in a few months from now. People love Star Wars, man. And this is just an innovative Star Wars collectible at this point. So I love it, man. This is awesome. So now that I got you really excited about NFTs, I want to talk about where they came from, how they migrated into our space, and where they're going. So come on, let's take a look. So that NFT you saw spinning behind me is the Star Wars The Mandalorian NFT. And look, what's really cool is after the purchase, you can write him to get an MP4 copy, which would be pretty cool. Now there's 12 of these for sale going for 0.16 ETH. ETH's about like 2,600 right now, so that's about $200, $300. People are into this stuff. I'm telling you right now, let's just go over the history and you won't believe how much money has been spent on NFTs. So I wanted to go over a brief history of NFTs. Where are the first ones we really ever knew about and where they came from? Now, the first ones we ever knew about was color coins. Really, color coins were some of the first Bitcoins ever made, and you could track them back to the Genesis blockchain. Because of that, you could see that they were definitely unique compared to other Bitcoins. A colored coin could even be as much as 1 Satoshi. Yes, the smallest value you could divide Bitcoin into. 1 Satoshi, 1 color coin. The problem is color coins weren't that easy to track, and after a while it was almost easier to use a ledger than a color coin, but at the same time, it began the beginnings of something that was digitally unique. And as that began to go on and progress, we went forward. But color coins really came out in 2012 and 2013, okay? Then there was Counterparty. Few remember this, but Counterparty was out in 2014, founded by Robert Demoty and Adam Krellenstein and Evan Wagner. They basically created this peer-to-peer financial platform, and they had asset creation, decentralized exchange, even had its own token with the ticker XCP. They had numerous projects, assets, and even a trading card games. So that kind of was another idea of NFTs. All right. Moving forward, I got into rare Pepes. Remember Pepe? Pepe's that weird frog that everyone makes a meme of. Memes have a place with NFTs. In a way, memes may have been the first type of NFTs ever, and they definitely paved the way to where we're going now. So these are rare Pepes. Now, there's so many people into these Pepes, there's actually analysts that know which Pepe is far more unique than the others. It gets really deep. The Pepe army is pretty crazy. They're into their Pepes hard, man. As you can see, these memes have an intense fan base. You can even find from the meme directory. Then came Cryptopunk, started by John Watson and Matt Hall. They learned they could create little pictures on the Ethereum blockchain. So they created 10,000 of these unique different faces. Cryptopunks. There was only 10,000 of them, and every one of them is completely unique. You could claim one if you had your own Ethereum address in 2017. Unfortunately, I didn't hear about this at the time, and I did not get one. Eventually, they were all claimed, and then people started swapping them and buying and selling them. These are very high in the collectible world because they were some of the first NFTs ever created. Even though they're really simple digital pieces of art, it's the history behind them that gives them their value. Now, this all started on Ethereum, and we all know a token made on Ethereum is an ERC20 token. That stands for Ethereum Request Comment. ERC20 tokens are great because already implemented in the programming, once you establish your coin on the Ethereum network, you can interact with all the other ERC20 tokens, and it's really helpful for programmers. But to track NFTs, they needed to make a new type of coin, the ERC721. Boom, it was invented. The ERC721 tracks a unique asset throughout the entire Ethereum blockchain. This is how when someone sells an NFT on Rarible, they're able to get residual income for it. For instance, if I make an NFT on Rarible, I should get 10% of every sale for the rest of that NFT's life. So anytime people exchange the NFT, I'm going to receive 10% sent to my wallet. And that is all tracked by an ERC721 token. Then there was CryptoKitties. I personally own some CryptoKitties. Now, I can't really truly remember the MetaMask wallet password that I had those CryptoKitties on, but I know I can find it if I dig it up. I have it in a database somewhere. I should go find them right now. I even had some of my CryptoKitties mate, and I ended up making more CryptoKitties. By the end of it, I had like 12 CryptoKitties, and I probably invested over $1,000 in these CryptoKitties. I might even find out that I have thousands of dollars worth of CryptoKitties. Back then, CryptoKitties crashed the entire Ether mainnet. I'm telling you right now. It became impossible to use for a few days. It was insane. Any OG crypto guys can remember the CryptoKitties crash of the Ethereum mainnet. It was actually a bit of hysteria. It was insane. I feel lucky and also pretty cool to have been through the CryptoKitties mania, man. I still own some CryptoKitties. Matter of fact, hold on, I gotta go find them right now. I'll be right back. Now, during all this phase, video games began to grow. Kids started to get into video games at a way younger age. Sadly, they don't play outside as much as they used to. They sit in front of screens all the time now, these kids. But they got really good at these video games. They got really good at buying and selling weapons, and they were almost using NFTs in a way on their own. So once they saw the space evolve, they're going to be ready. These kids that are 12, 13, 14 years old, when they enter crypto and get ready to invest at 18, 20, 21, it's all going to make perfect sense to them. And they're going to be really good at investing into NFTs. This whole world will make sense. Gaming and finance is going to be brought together in a whole new way. And NFTs bridge those two industries together amazingly well. Now you have so many places to get NFTs. We have OpenSea, OpenBazaar, Rarible, Rarebits, Super Rare, Loom, Decentraland. You can connect your MetaMask wallet to a lot of these. Then there's games and collectibles. You got Axie, Sarah, Rowdy, Mana, Alice. There's so many crazy things going on with the NFT gaming space. I'm telling you right now. If you haven't invested some of your portfolio into the NFT space, I'm telling you right now, you really, really need to. Now, I can't get into NFTs without talking about Beeple. That's right, Mike Winkleman. I mean, before October, he had sold one of his prints for maybe $100. The guy was a nobody. Honestly, his art was amazing, and he was a really good artist, but he wasn't that well known. But his art would begin to take off. Now, he's a really cool digital artist that juxtaposes a lot of our social indifferences with cool high-tech images, and I really like what he's doing. It makes sense that his art called Beeple sold for $69 million. That's right, $69 million at a Christie's auction. I mean, he started getting into where all the high-end art was being auctioned off. I mean, this is insane. This was all over the news just a few months ago. The NFT space was just bubbling up out of control. Since then, on the charts, it's taken a bit of a hit, but I believe it's the best time to pick up a lot of these coins on the low, such as Rarible, Rev, Ohm, Eternity, TVK, and many others that have a lot to do with the space. Not only did Beeple jump into the game, but then we even had Banksy jumping into the game. Once a Banksy was burned and tokenized, it really changed the game. Here's a live stream video of a masked man, and he's burning a Banksy live. I mean, 2-3 years ago, if someone burned a Banksy live, people would freak out. But you know what? They sold it for $380,000, they tokenized it, and they burned the original copy. Therefore, the person that had that NFT would be the only original owner of that non-fungible token, and that artwork would be nowhere in the world but in his hands. Yes, he has a digital piece of it. There will be no realistic piece of the art. He could always recreate it or print it, I'm sure. A little sad to me, being kind of an old school guy and liking to touch and feel, to watch that Banksy get burned up. But at the same time, it's innovation. And to get something, you have to let something go. So we have to let the past go as we move forward into the future, man. But the fact that this Banksy was burned and the fact that Christie's was involved yet again and it was a big time auction, this is insane stuff, guys. We're realizing how this is really going to form society. Like, it's going to change the way we interact with art for the rest of our lives. You're going to go to the museum now and you're going to want to interact with the museum. Where's the spinning movies? Where's the moment? I want to go to a hockey museum and I want to watch a virtual 3D image of Bobby Orr jumping across the net after they score. I want to leave that museum feeling like I was immersed. I want to put virtual goggles on and be in three-dimensional spaces as I interact with non-fungible tokens and art pieces. I mean, I'm going to create my own museums. I'm telling you right now, I got some plans and I'm not letting them out, but you wait and see. I got some stuff brewing with the NFT space and you won't believe it, so stay tuned. How do you buy and interact with NFTs? How do you buy your own NFTs? Well, there's many different sites now and it's growing every day. But the first place I ever learned was Rarible. Really, really cool. There's live auctions going on every second of the day here at Rarible. Really cool. So check it out. Say you wanted to buy this pipe-smoking Van Gogh. I mean, that's really cool to me. I love Van Gogh. I've been a fan of his art since day one. I've also felt like him sometimes outside of society. Really interesting. I felt connected to this man in some ways as an artist, a struggling artist. So yes, I would buy this and I really like it and I think it's cool. And so if I like it, I know someone else will appreciate it too. That means I could resell it. So, this might be a purchase. Hold on, guys. I think I need to buy some more NFTs. But that's one place, Rarible, where you can buy NFTs. Also, there's Refinable. Remember, MrBeast and Binance have both financed this project. It's going to be really, really big. There's MrBeast right there. Oh my God. And Binance. Amazing. They have their own coin called Fine, the Refinable token, and you could buy it right now. It had a pre-sale a few months back. It was a little crazy, but you know what? I still think Refinable is a great purchase right now, even just the token. So here's the marketplace. They link up with other artists that are somewhat known. Adrian Picardi, Toka B, Tokyo Love, D.W. Brodel, right? They got some cool art at all these different places. Check it out. Like, this looks really cool. I like that. Dream Road. Pretty interesting. What I like about Refinable is it's on the Binance Smart Chain. So I can buy a lot of these with BNB and not have to pay higher ETH fees. Now, I want to plug myself. This is the first NFT I ever made. I say doing damage all the time during the live stream. An awesome digital artist made this for a t-shirt. So yeah, I thought, you know what? Now my channel's been growing pretty fast and I have other ideas. I want to write a book. I want to shoot movies. I want to do more than just YouTube. So if I get where I'm going, this NFT will be worth way more one day. Right now it's $360. But you never know where the crypto lifer might end up. Now, I can't talk about NFTs without talking about Bondly. Check out my interview with the CEO, Brandon. It's on my channel. I interviewed him a few months back. They're one of the first people to really make that connection between NFTs and finances. They want to represent finances with NFTs. They've also made some big connections with some big-time artists and well-known celebrities. Logan Paul partnered with them to bring NFTs to the Maverick Metaverse. Isn't that pretty cool? So he had them design all his NFTs and kind of get them out there and put them on the blockchain while he used his image to cake off. Bondly also did a deal with Tory Lanez. These were two very successful NFT drops that gave both the artist and the celebrity involved a lot of returns. The digital transactions were fast, easy, and efficient. I'm sure the artist really loved how all these NFT drops played out for them. Another thing, Tory Lanez got a lot of that money direct. He made his deal with Bondly, but then he got a lot of the money. Think about it. He didn't have to deal with all of the big businesses, the record labels. I'm telling you right now, record labels are really scared of NFTs. They're running for the hills. They're about to lose huge amounts of revenue and their control over all their artists. It's going to be the wild, wild west for celebrities, artists, and people that have been trying to get theirs for a long time. There's going to be a more direct access to your fans and to your own revenue. NFTs will change the game when it comes to that. Now, I talked to the CEO and he was telling me that I could actually tokenize my entire YouTube channel. That's right. I could kind of divide it up into separate NFT assets and then sell NFTs of my YouTube channel. Everyone would have a portion of the YouTube channel. You can fractionalize everything and anything. It's truly unbelievable. Now here's NFTfy. I want to talk about them too because I went over them a few weeks back and they're talking about fractionalizing everything and anything. This reminds me of L.A.B.S. There's people throughout the world that the banks do not recognize. Some of them are illiterate, some of them can't read and write, but they can actually buy and sell and they could still be part of society, and some of them actually still have great ideas as well. With that being said, those people are being left behind. But with NFTfy or with fractionalized assets like L.A.B.S, which is a great real estate project that takes gigantic real estate projects and fractionalize them. So people that don't have tons of money, people that aren't accredited investors with $1 million in the bank liquid, can still participate and still invest their money. For a long time, real estate investing has really been held to the elite. Like there's guys worth hundreds of millions and they still get access to the loans and to the banks. They don't even need it anymore. They're already super successful. Let somebody else take a shot. Let somebody else get in the game. Oh, no. They're always pushing the little guy down. But with cryptocurrency, and anyone can invest their money into anything that they want. This is why I like NFTfy, because they're talking about fractionalizing everything and anything. It does not matter what it is. You can fractionalize it. So go to the video about NFTfy that we did a few weeks back. It'll blow your mind. I'm super excited to have done that video, and I just had to bring that up as well. So if you can't see that NFTs have really transcended every aspect of our lives. They've transcended art, they've transcended sports, they've transcended technology, they've even transcended finance. I mean, what else? These are the pillars of life. These are everything. These are all the things that we interact with on a regular basis. And NFTs have wiggled their way into the framework of society. We're going to see them all the time, even with NBA Top Shots. This was huge. You guys remember? And this was on Flow. That's why I really think Flow is a good coin you really want to pick up as well. I have a video, the top 10 NFTs you want to check out. I did it 2 months ago, but I really believe that video is still extremely relevant. You should check it out. Right here, NBA Top Shots, man. Unbelievable what happened there. They sold out faster than fast. Millions of dollars. Some people bought one for $20,000, $10,000, and were able to resell them for $200,000, $250,000. Imagine if you got a Michael Jordan moment or an amazing Allen Iverson shot or just some time in history that everybody knows about and everybody wants a piece of. I mean, it was crazy. I even tried to get into this and it just was insane. People were just buying it up at the speed of light. I'm telling you, I had never seen FOMO like this in my life. FOMO for the Beeples, FOMO for the Crypto Kitties, FOMO for the Cryptopunks, FOMO for NBA Top Shots, FOMO for the Banksy, you name it. NFTs, should just call them FOMO. You name it. NFTs create massive amounts of FOMO. And I'm telling you right now, you think that last little bubble we had a few months back is over? Oh no. NFTs are just bubbling up. Big business and also retail investors are accumulating those NFT coins on the low. When they begin to resurface, when more projects come out, I'm telling you right now, the NFT space is going to explode. I think sometime mid-summer, we're going to see a resurgence in the NFT marketplace. And I'm telling you, this is the perfect time to get your portfolio established in NFTs. So that's it, guys. I've talked about NFTs for so long right now. I just want to go and buy a bunch and start my own collections. I can't wait. They get me excited, they get me interested, and I can't fully explain why I FOMO for them, but I do. And I know all of you do too. Thank you so much for watching. Here at The Crypto Lifestyle, we cherish each and every one of our subscribers, and we appreciate all your support. Please hit the links to our other social media accounts and join the communities. We'd really appreciate it. Please comment, like, and subscribe. Hit the bell for notifications. Until next time, you're on your own.
It's the Crypto Lifestyle, baby.